Son of a bitch. Fuck you.
Greg.
Piece of shit. All right. Oh, this just threw me off. All right. Well, hey.
Told you just to let it sit, bitch.
Yeah, fucking asshole. Oh, not you, Craig, but you are right.
I am.
Welcome to today's episode of Juicing the Numbers, Statistics and Sports Podcast. We're mad at our robot. Today, we're talking about football. It's the only sport still happening, though there is a mild, tepid update on the NHL season we could talk about as well. But Corwin, are you ready to talk about some football?
Yeah. I just want to say, when this whole robot revolution, robot rebellion takes place, our treatment of Craig is not going to shine kindly on us.
Well, he is a punk bitch, and I bet the robot army wouldn't want him.
I'm usually pretty nice to Roombas because, you know, they move and have eyes and stuff.
Out the rest of their past season so similarly, both organizations huddled into bubbles, mostly because they had fewer teams to worry about since they were basically in their playoffs already. They weren't actually, but they were pretty much there. So they only had to bring in a limited number of teams, and then just NHL did hub cities, which with their own bubbles, and the NBA just did the one bubble city in Orlando. But it looks like this is the first, albeit minor, diversion between the two in terms of how they are approaching COVID going forward. But they both handled it really well in the past, so I guess we'll see how they fare.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm very distracted looking through some crazy headlines on Reddit right now. I just can't even focus on what you're saying.
That's okay. There's nothing to really say about it. I'm excited for hockey. I'm lukewarmedly excited for basketball only because I'm not truly a fan, but I said last season I'd try to get more into it. I think this year I might really actually try more. If the Knicks trade for Russell Westbrook, I will definitely watch at least one game. I'll put it that way. Just to see. Anyway.
I'll probably watch Lakers games. I probably will watch a Sixers game or two because I'll try and claim to still be a fan of theirs. But I cannot promise I will watch many basketball games.
Yeah, I think I'm going to commit to the Knicks here. I don't know. It
feels you have enough bad teams to root for. You should not burden yourself with the Knicks.
Yeah, I know. But at the same time, I like those jerseys. I don't know. I like rooting for a unified garden between the Knicks and the Rangers. Yeah. Anyway, so the NFL playoff picture is coming into focus, kinda. It's an odd playoff picture for a couple reasons. For one, we are having 7 teams per conference instead of the usual 6, which means there's 2 extra teams in the playoffs overall. It means there's also 1 fewer bye weeks to go around. And this is happening in the midst of a terrible performance from the NFC East. So the NFC standings look bizarre. So I guess let's talk about the NFC first. That's what I have up first. As it stands right now, the number 1 seed, the only team that would be getting a bye this time around, would be the New Orleans Saints, currently sitting at 9-2. There's a full game up from the number 2 and number 3 seeds, which are Seattle and Green Bay in that order, because Seattle beat Green Bay, I believe. Strength of schedule. Strength of victory. I don't know what that means. But anyway, so it's a tepid lead for first seed for the Saints, but it is still present. So that's Seattle and Green Bay both sitting at 8-3, sitting at 2-3 in the seeding. The number 4 seed in the NFC playoffs, the New York Giants at 4-7. It's a 364 win percent. After that, it's the Rams at 7-4 in the 5th seed. They are the first wild card. The second wild card and the 6th seed are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the 7th seed and the 3rd wild card is the Arizona Cardinals at 6-5. So all of the teams in the playoffs as it stands right now are over 500, barring the Giants. So that might make you say, the Giants don't deserve to be there. We should take the next best team. Well, that team's below 500 too.
NFC is fucking brutal.
I know. The next 3 teams are all 5-6. The Vikings, the Bears, and the Niners, who are all just barely missing the playoffs right now, each one game back of the Cardinals, are all below 500. So there are not 7 teams in the entire NFC standings right now that are over 500. So one of them is in the playoffs. Why not make it entertaining? Give us the Giants. And that's where we're at. So as it would shake out right now, Saints would be on bye. Seahawks and Cardinals would be a first round game. Packers, Bucks, and Giants, Rams. Eesh. Ugh. It's not pretty, Corwin.
No, it's not. I'm very glad that I am not a Giants fan like so many of my peers because we grew up in Giants country. Thankfully, the other half of those fans were Eagles fans, so holy shit, I'm glad I jumped ship when I could and went all the way to Western Pennsylvania.
Allegheny County, stand up.
Allegheny County is Eastern Pennsylvania.
Allegheny County is where Steelers is.
Oh, buddy. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Corwin, are you serious right now?
Oh, fuck. It's been a long day, guys. It's been a long...
Yeah, Allegheny County is home of Pittsburgh. Anyway.
I need help.
I know.
I live in Lehigh County, by the way, and I was like, Josh, I live here. I know what Allegheny County is. I'm just fucking stupid, but we all know that already, so we'll just move on past.
We'll chalk it up to the fact we're recording a day early, so we're both out of it. It's right. It's Tuesday. We usually record on Wednesdays, so it's kind of funky. So maybe that's it. Who knows?
Can we also mention the fact that the Giants went from having what I think was the 6th overall pick to now having the 19th overall pick in the draft?
I know. And that's what we were talking about like a week or two ago, is that whoever wins the I would be rooting, if I was an NFC East fan, I would be rooting for my least favorite NFC East team to win. So that way they'd have a sub 500 record and a terrible draft pick and get bounced in the first round of the playoffs almost for sure. Like, whichever team goes to the playoffs for the NFC East is going to be worse off because of it.
It's horrific.
Seriously.
Truly horrific.
Yeah.
Like, I get there's a lot of fans because, again, we are very close to the meccas of both Giants and Eagles fans, so we get both. Both sides have said, a couple times, like, hey, we want to win the division. Like that, no matter what, like we're still winning the division. But it's just like, is it worth it? You're not going anywhere in the playoffs. No matter what you say about, parity and, any given Sunday, the Eagles cannot go anywhere in the playoffs this year. Why would you surrender what is almost certainly a top draft pick, a top player, a franchise-changing player possibly, just so you could have bragging rights for a year when everyone fucking sucked? Even if you win the division, you think you're going to have bragging rights at 4-7? No fucking way. It kills me how you just can't see that value.
Yeah, no, I mean, as much as we all like to shit on the Jets, I actually think the shit on the Jets talk has been relatively quelled from where it typically is in a given season because it's so advantageous how bad we are this year, especially considering how bad the entire NFL is this year. But, I mean, if the Giants win the division, it fucks them for next year. And don't get me wrong, Daniel Jones progressing is obviously good. The Giants can make good free agency moves, but, I mean, the difference between having a top 10 pick and a late teens, early 20s pick is crazy when you're talking about how much that pick means to a team that is trying to rebuild versus already good. Seattle's been getting by on those, low 20s picks for the last, 7 years. because they have good players elsewhere. They're a well-run organization. They have a good coaching staff. So the fact that their first-round picks are in the lower end of the first round doesn't matter that much. They're not trying to rebuild. They don't need key players at key positions. They need to kind of maintain. The Giants aren't there yet. The Giants are not there yet. So going from that 6th overall pick to 19 is oh my god, it fucks them. It just fucks them. There's no two ways about it. Yeah.
It's really brutal.
Is there any team
6
not
to
in the
19 too, like that? It hurts so much.
Yeah, because usually, like if you went to into the playoffs at like I don't know 9-7, you might jump from like I don't know maybe like 16th to the 20th, 14th to 19th, 6 to 19 is a crazy jump,
Mhm.
insane. I can't think of a bigger one.
Um, I mean, I know there's been like more impactful ones, like when there was a coin flip for the first overall pick. Um, what year was that? It was like an expansion year or something. I got to look that up. So if you have anything to say, while I do. Um, coin flip.
Well, I had a question, but
Oh, it was the NBA. That's why.
ah,
And the winner got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
that winner would be the Lakers then, yes?
Yeah, Milwaukee.
Yeah, the Milwaukee Lakers.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is actually, I'm pretty sure that's where they came from originally.
Yeah, hence lakes, because there
Yeah.
ain't no lakes in Los Angeles. Uh, is there any
Mm.
team in the NFC that's not in the playoffs that you would actually like to see in the playoffs?
A team that isn't in, but I would want to see in.
Yeah.
The Chargers, because I think they could actually perform if they
They're
figure out
not
how to stop losing. But they're
Corwin,
not in it.
they're not in the NFC.
Oh, I thought you just said NFL.
Nope.
NFC? No, I mean none of these teams. Well, I mean the Falcons are garbage, but at least they'd be fun to watch. Panthers again would be fun to watch because they could pull some shit together. But like the Vikings, I don't want to watch Kirk Cousins. I don't want to watch Mitch Trubisky or Nick Foles with the Bears. 49ers, if they were fully healthy, I would love to see, even if their quarterback situation is terrible. It's just there's not a lot of inspirational teams with enjoyable play styles in the NFC right now. The ones
Mm,
that are in the playoffs, and then also the Giants.
yeah, plus yeah, because you're right. The Vikings aren't that interesting of a team this season outside of who's their fucking running back?
What team?
Vikings.
Dalvin Cook.
Thank you. God damn it. The Bears are a dumpster fire. No one deserves to have to watch that. The Niners are too hurt to be fun. The Lions would be interesting because they've lost. They always seem to lose in bizarre fashion, and they seem to have decent offensive production in some aspects and can't put it together in others. So I think they'd make for an interesting watch. I'm not sure how much I'd really care, but I think they might be of the crop maybe the most interesting because Washington no one wants to see. Even Atlanta, honestly, I don't really want to see. I don't want to keep watching Julio Jones make me sad because he's never going to win it. I haven't watched any Carolina games, so I don't know how that's going. And then the Eagles would suck to watch, and the Cowboys would suck to watch for more so than the usual reasons. So yeah, it's bad. It's so bad, man.
Yeah.
We'll be
Hey,
talking
before we switch over, do you know who Neil Walk is?
Neil Walk. I
Yeah.
have no idea.
I went to Florida. Help at all?
Nope.
Yeah, he was the guy that was drafted second after Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I know this isn't the movies podcast, but No Country for Old Men. What's the most you've ever lost in a coin toss? Multiple championships and the equivalent of millions.
That's real. Tough. Yeah. What the fuck is happening? All right, whatever. You're gonna tell me you'd rather have this game play at 3:40 on a Wednesday this week instead of, I don't know, 8 p.m. on a Sunday, like 5-6 weeks from now? Like, that's really better for you? Is the NFL living paycheck to paycheck?
Here's an idea. I'm just throwing this out there. Why doesn't, instead of dealing with this fucking bullshit every goddamn week, the NFL just says, hey, we're going to push back the start of the playoffs 2-3 weeks. We're going to throw some buffer weeks in there to make sure everyone's see, so that A, we have room to build in some bye weeks for teams that get sick, and the Steelers can stop getting fucked over, and so that if people are sick at the end of the season, you can quarantine and get healthy and live in a bubble so that the entirety of your team is healthy for the playoffs, so we don't have this fucking shit happen in the playoffs. What, like, I get there would be a lot of logistics and a lot of people pissed off because the Super Bowl is going to get moved and there's some shit. Just, there would be a lot that would need to be done to do so. But it's either going to happen now when there's still time to make that happen, or they're going to have a playoff game on a Wednesday where the winning team has to go and play on the Sunday as well. And it's just going to fuck so many teams over, and it's got the chance to truly destroy the playoffs and destroy the season this year. And I'm not looking forward to that.
No, it just, again, I don't get the short-term benefit of doing this. I don't get the long-term benefit of doing this. And it's also leaving the realm of, I understand that they can do this logistically and it be okay, because we're that's becoming specious in of itself. I mean, it's not even logistically making any sense anymore. They're playing this game Wednesday at 3:40, so it's going to be played at just about 1:00 West Coast time in the afternoon on a weekday. It's going to be played at 4:00 East Coast time. Again, just about. I'm tired of saying 3:40. Who's watching this that doesn't work from home? And even then, not everyone has the luxury of being able to do whatever the hell they do when they're working from home. Like, it's going to be tough to even get anybody watching. And it's also weird because you have Thursday Night Football for the next week's of slot of games the day after. At this point, you're basically already playing this game in a different, quote unquote, week of football. You're playing this week 11 game in week 12. Why not just at that point play it in week, 17 or 18 or whatever it would be, if you put in room between the playoffs and the end of the regular season? Who does this benefit? Not the Steelers.
Nope, not the Ravens.
Well, kind of. I mean, if they're waiting for Lamar Jackson to be healthy, it kind of.
I'll be honest, it does benefit the Ravens quite a lot. I don't know why I said that. That was a shitty reactionary comment.
The only reason it hurts the Ravens is it hurts their PR because it's a constant reminder of the fact that they got COVID, when instead it could have been more like the Titans, where they canceled the game, moved the fuck on, and never addressed that again.
Yeah, I don't get why, the Titans could break protocol and break NFL rules and have their game postponed, while the Ravens do something wildly similar where a coach breaks protocol and infects the entirety of the team, and their game just keeps getting pushed back and back and back and back and back until they're healthy enough to play it. I mean, I think that's because they don't have the room to do it now like they did week 4, but it's not fair.
I mean, the NFL has spun the wheel and the Steelers lost. That's all there is to it.
Yep. Oh well.
Yep.
To some extent, I almost like, I don't want us to not play the game because I want to beat the Ravens, which should happen with one-legged RG3 back there. And it would really fuck the Steelers up if, they are one game short and they happen to lose a game some point during the rest of the season because the Chiefs, even though they also lost a game, there's no tiebreaker to win that because the Steelers played one less game. So that would really fuck us. But
severely.
Also, if we did go undefeated anyway, being 15-0 would be the worst fucking undefeated season ever. Being, the third, it would definitely be the bronze medal. Oh,
Was
well.
there a joke in there?
No, it would just suck.
Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about a different debacle. Let's jump back over to the NFC East so we can continue shitting on everything they have it going on in their lives. And let's talk about Carson Wentz, shall we?
Sure. That guy, former MVP frontrunner, former second overall pick, former good quarterback.
Yeah, formerly thought very, very highly of.
Hey, before we get into this, we got a new government coming in, new, president, all this. Can we petition to ban auto-playing videos on websites? Just throwing it out there.
I'm firmly in favor. And none of this, it plays, but it's muted bullshit. Stop it. Just stop. If I want to watch your video, I'll click on the fucking thing.
Stop stealing my bandwidth, man. Come on.
No one wants this. Anyway, so the Carson Wentz dilemma is twofold. For one, he used to be good and is now tragically bad, and we'll get into that probably first. And then secondly, he's signed through 2024. He signed that contract extension, that 4-year, $128 million contract extension. He is on the books until 2024. So that makes it they can buy out his contract for 2022 and eat $24.5 million of dead cap. Yeah, that's bad. But that's ooh, man, it's ugly. So let's start with the bad, and then get into the contract situation part of it afterwards. So, if you had just started living, breathing, and watching football today, you go, why would the Eagles give him that contract? Well, it's because if we look at Carson Wentz's passer rating, let's look at it by year. It went from 79.3 in his rookie season, which for a rookie is fine. 2017, it jumped to 101.9. Crazy leap. Great passer rating. 2018, 102.2, built on it. Awesome. 2019, 93.1, a big step down, but still rather good. In 2020, it is 73.4, is the worst of his career. He has 15 interceptions, which is a career high and leads all of the NFL. He has taken 46 sacks, which is the most of his career and leads the NFL. He is sacked. His lost yardage due to sacks is 304 yards, which is the most in his career and leads the NFL. He has 16 touchdowns as of right now, which is tied for the fewest of his career since 2016. This is his rookie season. I mean, it's bad, man. It's really bad. He has 2,500 yards, so he's not on pace to do very well in terms of yardage. He only broke 4,000 yards last year, the only season he did he actually managed to do it. And as we'll get into, his peripherals are all garbage. I mean, this is ugly.
It's really bad. So here's a fun little stat for you for Carson Wentz. Wentz is on pace to be the first quarterback in the Super Bowl era to be sacked more than 65 times and throw more than 20 interceptions. Leads the NFL currently with 46 sacks and 15 interceptions in 9 games. 11 games.
11 games. Yeah.
11 games. That's unheard of. Josh, do math. What do those extrapolate out to?
Which numbers?
46 and 15. I could easily have done this, but I don't want to.
46 over a 16 game stretch stretches out to about 67.
Oof.
Yeah. And 15 stretches out to about 22.
20. Yeah, I did the interceptions while you were doing that, and I still lost that race.
Yeah, well, hey, when I'm on it, I'm on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's
not just that his stats are bad. Like, it's not his O-line is bad and he's taking a lot of sacks. It's not that, he's throwing up 50-50 balls and his wide receivers, aren't catching it. We can touch on wide receivers in a minute because I have another fun stat, but he has just looked awful all season long. Like, you talk about analytics versus the eye test, stats versus film. The stats say he's having a historically bad season. He has a 49.7 QBR this year. And the eye test is worse. He's holding onto the ball forever. He's making terrible decisions. He's not making throws he needs to make. He had that one beautiful throw to Boston Scott for a touchdown halfway through the season so far, a couple games in. And that might be like it for his highlight tape for 2020. Like, it's been an ugly, awful season all around. And have you seen anything yet for anyone breaking down what could the cause be? Or, watching him, it just seems like everything has fallen apart and everything has collapsed altogether. And I don't know if there can be one singular thing that he's doing that is causing all this, because I don't know if that's even possible.
I was gonna kind of say all the same shit you did. This isn't explain away the bad stats the way that maybe you could with some of Sam Darnold's, like, last year or the year before. Not so much this year, but or you could do with I'm trying to think of who's had some good-ish years on some bad teams. Maybe Phil Rivers. Even then, he usually covers the yards crazy. I can't think at the moment, but I know we've done it on the podcast before. We've talked about some people who've been playing well, but they have suffered a lot of drops or anything, man. They have all the air yards completed and got no yards after the catch, and it's been hosing them and yada yada yada. But it's just bad. It's just plain bad. Some of it can be excused for Carson Wentz in some places, but just not enough. Man, just not enough for it to really matter. So let's take a look at some of his deeper stats for a moment. Let's start with air yards. So far he has an intended air yards per pass attempt of 8.9. That is the highest of his career in 2018. This only goes back to 2018 for all these stats when they started keeping track of this shit. But anyway, in 2018 it was 7.7. 2019 it was 8.0. 2020, Jesus, it's 8.9. Now that is met with a high point in his completed air yards per completion, which is a funny way of saying that, but it is accurate, which is of 6.4. His yards after completion, however, is at the lowest point in the last 3 years at 4 yards after the catch per completion versus 5 yards in 2018 and 4.6 yards in 2019. So he is completing more air yards per completion than he has prior in his last 3 seasons in his career. But his wide receivers are not going as far after the catch. So there we go. That's a little something. It's not enough, though. Let's get into accuracy.
Oh my god, no.
What?
Oh, I was just saying, oh my god, no. Like, not even close. I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. So this is where we're actually going to have to explain how much worse he has been than these stats. So the first one that we can look at here is bats, passes batted by a defender at or behind the line of scrimmage. He has 5 so far this season. In 2018, he had 0, and in 2019, he had 16. So he's definitely doing better than 2019, but this still isn't great. And when you couple this with how many times he's going to throw the ball away, which is a record high 16 for him, it's not good. That is not good. So he has basically had given up, or I'll put it this way: these are stats that show for bats, you have completely misjudged either distance or your own arm speed, and you should have pump faked, and you chose not to. Or, and then throwaways is that you have held on to the ball for too long, or nothing opened up in front of you, or you're Tom Brady and nothing else materialized. This in of itself is not good. I don't think we're at the worst of it yet, and I think we're gonna be getting there. We're gonna be getting there pretty soon. But it's not a good look to have 16 balls thrown away. Give me a quarterback you want to look at for comparison there.
Comparison. Wait, what stat is this again? Specifically?
Batted balls batted away, passes batted away, and balls thrown away.
Kyler Murray.
Oh, that's an interesting choice. Yeah, I'm
5'6". He should have every ball batted away. Carson Wentz is what, 6'4"?
Kyler Murray is 5'10".
No.
Carson Wentz is 6'5".
No.
Jesus
Carson
Christ.
Wentz is 6'5", sure. Kyler Murray is not 6'10". 5'10".
We know he's not.
No.
You and I know he's not. Oh, actually, this is interesting.
Breaking news, Josh.
What?
Oh wait, this is coming out on Thursday. This won't be breaking news, but it is to us. Baltimore's team flight is leaving. The game is still on, but the Ravens had 2 more positive tests today.
And
it is thought to be one player, one staff member, and in the words of one source, quote, not unexpected and not a concern for the game.
How is that not a concern? They're still finding more positive cases. How is that not a concern?
Because the NFL is still going to push it through.
That makes no fucking sense. Fucking sense.
Go right ahead so we can ignore this all.
So actually, Kyler Murray is interesting. He has had 13 balls batted away so far this season. Almost triple Carson Wentz's number. Which I guess tracks. He is, according to the stat sheet, 7 inches shorter than Carson Wentz. His throwaway number is also a lot higher. It is also not a lot higher. It is slightly higher. It's 17 instead of 16, which is interesting.
Yeah, maybe I should pick someone, like Derek Carr, who's at least like normal height.
All right, let's look at Derek Carr.
Kyler Murray again, 4'11".
He only gets shorter.
Yeah.
Every time you say his name, he shrinks a little bit. Wow, Derek Carr is balanced. He has had 12 balls batted away and 12 balls thrown away. I don't know why that's so funny to me, but here we are. Yeah, I guess the bad balls deal ain't so bad. The throwaways, I don't know. 16 still seems like a fuck ton, especially when you're bad. Because, well, that's what's even crazier. He has 422 pass attempts so far this year. That's a ton. Right? Stupid dick. I navigated away from the page too. God damn it. All right, 422 divided by 11 is 38.
That's like a high number to average, but I don't know if that's a crazy number. It's definitely pass happy.
For reference, Derek Carr has thrown 348 pass attempts this season, which is on average 31.5 per game. And Kyler Murray has thrown 387 pass attempts so far this season, or 35 per game.
What about a guy like Pat Mahomes?
Oh God,
Because I know he's slinging it, both well and often.
Yeah, let's see how he's doing. He has thrown 423 pass attempts so far this season. Jesus Christ.
It's not as much as honestly I thought.
38
he'd have
per
more.
game. 38.5 per game. Yeah. He's actually very identical to Carson Wentz here. Five batted balls and 15 balls thrown away. So I'm going to say Carson Wentz here probably doing pretty well, actually.
Yeah, all things considered, tall guy throw a ball over tall lineman. Boom.
I will say he has 0 spiked passes, which I think is a sign that
Weird.
things are not going well on offense.
Yeah.
You've never run the hurry up and had to spike the ball.
Unless you would have one or two because have the ball at the end of the half and you can drive up the field quickly. But yeah, I don't know. That's definitely not a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, last year he only had 1. The year before that he had 2. Everyone's usually got a couple. Derek Carr has 2. Kyler Murray has 6. Wow.
Oof.
Pat Mahomes has 1, which is actually surprising because he'd be on the other end of it where it's like, wow, you need to spike the ball? Why?
You're going for a field goal or running out of time? Yeah, I guess that's bound to happen at some point.
You need the points?
Yeah.
Even Sam Darnold has 3. Jesus. Oh man, that's so bad. Anyway, Carson Wentz's passes dropped percent is also pretty high. He has 21 drops so far this season. It's 5.2% of all of his throws. So he's definitely getting hosed by his wide receivers a good amount between both this and the yards after the catch. So his wide receivers are absolutely not doing him any favors. However, more in line with himself, he has had 75 bad throws so far this season.
What?
That's 18.5% of all of his throws.
What?
And he's only been on target 63.1% of the time.
What? Yeah.
For reference, Sam Darnold is worse than him in bad throw percent, 19.8, just crazy high. But Sam Darnold's also 10 points better than him in on-target percent, 73% versus 63%. Derek Carr is at 81%. Kyler Murray's at 77%. Pat Mahomes at 79%. 63% is really 63% is like is a mediocre completion percent.
Wait. I can't fathom this top 5 in bad throw numbers. Well, I guess I should look at percentage, right? Not numbers.
I've been looking at percentage.
All right. So right now, top 10, just to throw some names out there. Number 10 is Justin Herbert at 17.3. Number 9 is Pat Mahomes at 17.4.
Throws a lot.
Granted, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Carson Wentz is at 8 with 18.5. Top 7, Gardner Minshew, 18.8.
Totally makes sense.
Matt Stafford, 18.9, which is a little surprising.
Okay.
Cam Newton at 19.5.
Honestly, not surprised.
Sam Darnold, 19.8.
Not surprised.
Tom Brady at 20.5.
That is surprising, but now that you say that, I feel like we've talked about that.
He leads the league in bad throw numbers with 95.
Wow.
20 more than Carson Wentz at number 2.
Wow, that's crazy.
So number 2 in percentage is Baker Mayfield at 22.3. And do you want to take a guess at who number 1 would be, unless you already looked?
Percentage-wise?
Yeah.
I'll stick with Darnold.
Darnold, we just said at number 4. Bitch.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I do it literally every episode.
I'll go Lamar Jackson.
No, Lamar Jackson was 11 with 16.9%.
All right, who is it?
Drew Lock with 25.6.
Oh, you know what? We have talked about this. Yeah, that's so bad.
Not ideal.
No, that's not good.
Other end of the spectrum, you want to guess who the most on-target quarterbacks are?
Gotta be Drew Brees.
Wait. Yeah, it is.
Um,
Before we go into this, Pat Mahomes is 9th in bad throw percentage and 8th in on-target percentage.
so you know what's funny?
What are the rest of his numbers?
I was just thinking about that because of a few of the other names you had on your list, guys like Tom Brady and shit. And I'm wondering, I'm not trying to rationalize. Oh, I guess I am literally trying to rationalize, but I'm not trying to make excuses. It's a genuine question. There has to be a difference between missing a receiver by 10 yards. I'm just going to say that's what it is. To delineate between a bad throw and just an off-target throw. Missing by 10 yards because of deep ball attempts and I don't know, route mix-ups because of a complicated offense where you are, really like quarterbacking the team a la Peyton Manning versus missing the receivers you have because you just suck and are doing a bad job, right?
I guess.
So maybe Mahomes has more of the Mahomes, because Mahomes and Brady, that makes sense. Those are two guys who really lead an offense. Maybe they're just either airing the ball so much that they're just the receivers got crossed up, missed a step, whatever, and couldn't get there, or they're running the offense and there was a cross up of some sort, versus a guy like Sam Darnold who's just not playing well.
Okay.
Total rationalization on my end, but
I get it.
Because Mahomes is not a bad quarterback. Mahomes is a really good quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be a reason there.
Mm-hmm. It really just has to come down to, where they are. I guess it's just where they're plotting the throw. I don't know. I really don't know, and I wish I knew.
Yeah, I don't know either. But let's keep going with Carson Wentz here. So that's 63% on target percent. That means that 37% of the time.
Here we go. Per Pro Football Reference, a bad throw are throws that were not catchable with normal effort.
So then what's an off-target throw?
An on-target throw are throws that would have hit the intended receiving target.
Okay.
So I assume that would mean if you are throwing a ball downfield and a receiver stops running and the ball sails over, the head because he stopped running, that could still be an on-target throw because it would have hit the intended receiving target. Or if it's batted down before it gets to the guy still running, or, this or that, it could still be on target even though it was incomplete or the receiver didn't catch it or he drops it or anything like that. Whereas a bad throw could technically still be on target, but it is in such a way that the effort to catch it is so much that it would still be considered bad. So, like,
if you hit a guy, on his back heel, it's still, I guess, hit the intended receiving target if that's, what the qualification is. But there's no way he does that without insane effort and luck, essentially.
Right. Okay. Okay. All right. How does that change how you view the stat?
It doesn't.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm just glad I had that closure.
All right. Cool. I guess let's just keep going.
Hey,
So
we're here to learn things, Josh. That's why we're here.
Carson Wentz's on target percent of 63%. Where does that rank?
On target of 63%. Oh, 32nd out of 32 qualified quarterbacks
Yeah.
by
'Cause
5.1%.
I was going to say, this seems like we're going to see a huge disparity between what everyone else is doing and Carson Wentz.
So the
Because-
different... Sorry, go ahead. Finish up.
I was going to say, because all the other ones, we can kind of excuse. I've been able to excuse. We've been able to excuse batted balls. Been able to excuse balls thrown away. We found reasons with the intended air yards being high, the completed air yards being high, but the yards after the catch being low. But this is where it's really, really bad. I mean, if you can't even get the ball in your wide receiver's ability to catch range, all the intended air yards in the world aren't going to save you.
Mm-hmm. So the difference between Carson Wentz at 63.1 and Drew Lock at 68.2, who is 31st, is the same as the difference between Drew Brees at 83.8%, best in the NFL, and Ryan Tannehill's 77.3, which is good for 14th.
Oh, god damn.
Wait. I counted. As Kyler Murray's 77.6 at 13. But same difference, whatever. Close enough.
Yeah. Oh my god, seriously. Jesus. I mean, this this combined with bad throw percent are probably the two most independently Carson Wentz's stats, or quarterback-specific stats that we've looked at so far. Nothing changes why not you are on target. That's you. And the fact he's this bad there. Oh man.
It's pretty ugly, man. It's pretty ugly. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get how they can allow Carson Wentz to completely implode. Like, I don't know what it is. Like,
well, Doug Peterson just today said that he was sticking with him. There was no intention of moving on. Which again, I guess you kind of have to say. But look, you got 4 years. The dude would understand if he got benched.
That's tough. I don't know. Like, mentally, how do you recover when you've already, like, it's tough to go inside the mind of a quarterback. It's a poor reference to Moneyball, but how do you go into the mind of a quarterback and figure out what will be the motivating factor that gets him to get out of this funk? Is it benching him, letting him work on things, take the pressure off, take the spotlight away, let him get away from the headlines, get away from the spotlight, and just, work on his game mentally? Is it keeping him in and letting him work it out through reps on the field? If you do bench him, is that going to ruin his psyche and give him the yips? Is it going to make this worse? You don't know until it happens and you can look back on it.
And I don't know what the right decision is. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Jalen Hurts. I incorrectly had him as my number 3 quarterback this year. Justin Herbert, you fucking rock. You're a mental trap, unlike what we thought. Even, that being said, I'd love to see him get the chance, but I don't know if you risk neutering your quarterback to do so, especially when it's a guy you still have for 4 years and you're paying a hell of a lot of money to, and has showed he could be an MVP QB.
You got to think longer term than just this season. You're not going anywhere this season. I mean, you can bench a guy to make a point. We've all been there, and in some way, man. Let's keep going with it just to finish out the Carson Wentz talk before we kind of get things wrapped up. For pressures, since that is our next advanced stat thing here, average pocket time has been pretty consistent on him. It's been 2.3 seconds in 2018 and then 2.4 in each of 2019 and 2020. But I also wouldn't be surprised if that was kind of industry standard. Yeah, right there, Derek Carr 2.2 and 2.5, the only 2 times he has. 2.3 and 2.4 for Kyler Murray, 2.4 and 2.5 for Patrick Mahomes. This is a small, this is a tight window. It always is. That's not specific to him. He has been blitzed 140 times, which is down 40 blitzes from last year. He has been hurried 37 times, which is half of what he had last year. But he has been hit 44 times, which is only 9 fewer than last year. So he was on pace to beat that out. He has been pressured 124 times, which is a pressure percent of 25.6. That is a career high for him. He has scrambled 17 times and has managed 8.4 yards per scramble, which is also a high, but you'd still rather have the passing yards. But the pressure's going up. They haven't gone up a ton. I'm going to say this actually isn't much of a factor here.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm sad of thinking of bad quarterbacks. I'm also reading up on their wide receiver history, and that's making me even sadder.
Yeah, it's just bonkers. The fact that pressures isn't factoring in much, at least in what I can see, makes a lot of sense. In that this is just Carson Wentz being bad.
Yeah. Sorry, I keep cutting you off, but
no, go right ahead.
It just goes back to that eye test thing where, if he was getting pressured a historic amount, if he was getting hit on every play and this and that, you could be like, okay, like I get it. There are some external factors, outside of his own personal performance that is causing him to perform this way. But it's not. It's really squarely on his shoulders. And I mean, the Eagles have had offensive line injuries this year. They've had wide receiver injuries this year. Like, it's not in a vacuum. It's not solely there. You can't put it all on him, but you have a franchise quarterback that you signed to an extension. You drafted 2nd overall. You traded a bunch to get him. And you expect him to be your franchise cornerstone. And he's been detrimental to that. You need those quarterbacks. You need those players to step up and elevate the rest, not drag you down, obviously.
Especially when you are still, as bad as this season is, you are still in it. You're not out. Yes, you are last in your division. Yes, you have 3 wins. The team in first place has 4 wins. You're not out of it. While benching Carson Wentz might seem aggressive or like you're giving up on the season or whatever, no, it's not. You have to do what's best for the team and giving them a real shot to make the playoffs, even though it's, as we just said, a bad year to do that. It's still what you're supposed to do as someone who runs an organization. This is the goal. I don't know. They've got a lot of tough decision making to do in regards to this, and it's not tough decision making in the way New England's was, which is, do you keep bringing back Brady until he's bad, or do you let him because that was a good position to kind of have to be in. It's like we get the choice. How long do we want to keep this Brady thing going? He's still been really good. This is not that. This is, do we rebuild without ever? And I can't say without ever having been good, because they literally won a Super Bowl, but it doesn't feel like that happened.
Yeah, with Nick Foles.
True.
So, do you want me to read this wide receiver post that I keep getting distracted by? 'Cause
Sure.
it's tough.
Yeah,
All
go
right.
right ahead.
Eagles were brutally reminded this week about their wide receiver draft mistakes. That's the title of this Reddit post.
Love it.
In 2020, the Eagles drafted Jalen Reagor 1 pick ahead of Justin Jefferson, to everyone's dismay. On Sunday, Jefferson had a stellar game, recording 7 receptions for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jefferson has been the best rookie wide receiver this season, while Jalen Reagor hasn't played fairly well, producing 19 receptions, 222 yards, and 1 touchdown through 6 games. That's okay. That is definitely not great, and it's definitely not what you would want out of your first-round pick. In 2019, the Eagles drafted J.J. Arcega-Whiteside 7 picks ahead of DK Metcalf, much to everyone's dismay. Sunday, Metcalf torched the Eagles with 10 receptions for 177 yards. That's just 2 receptions and 37 yards less than Arcega-Whiteside's career totals through 23 games played. Metcalf is leading the NFL in receiving yards and is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, while Arcega-Whiteside has rode the bench despite all of the injuries that they've seen. In 2016, the Eagles drafted Halapulivata Maitai 1 pick ahead of Tyreek Hill. On Sunday, Hill had run one of the best performances by a wide receiver in recent memory, with 13 receptions, 269 yards, 203 of which were in the first quarter, and 3 touchdowns. Not much else needs to be said about Hill. He's been one of the best wide receivers in the NFL over the past couple of years. Vaitai, despite being a solid OT, is not on the Eagles, and it's not a tight race between the two. I get Tyreek Hill is his own bag of worms for why nobody wanted to draft him. But that being said, the Eagles have still been truly bad at drafting wide receivers.
Yeah.
And boy, is it hurting.
I mean, they make the Jets look good at it.
When was Deshaun Jackson drafted? Do you know?
Deshaun Jackson? Oh, jeez.
Jackson.
Fucking dude, like 2009?
Oh my God, he's 34. It's before then, isn't it? 2008.
Oh my God.
2nd round pick in 2008. And that was the last memorable wide receiver the Eagles have drafted. I mean, who have they had? They had Alshon Jeffrey, which came from the Bears. They've had Brandon Marshall, did they have Brandon Marshall? No, I'm thinking of the Jets. That's a different group.
Yeah.
Who else have they had? I think they had Mike Wallace for a while back in the day, but again, that was from the Steelers. The Eagles have not had a good history of wide receivers. I can't even think of any of their stars outside of Deshaun Jackson because there haven't been any.
I know, man. It's ugly.
Whatever.
It That's why it's really, really surprising the fact that they won a Super Bowl like recently.
It's
Like,
crazy
very
how they kind of were this dominant, complete team that looked like they would be, not quite a Patriots dynasty, but still a dynasty. And it's completely imploded. Completely imploded. They have the 3rd worst record in the NFC. What's their draft pick?
It's got to be a top 5.
It's actually not.
No
Where are
way.
you, Eagles?
Get out of here.
They're 18.
No, they're not. That must not be updated from when they were.
That can't be updated because that
'cause-
has them leading the division.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the only way they'd be picking that low.
Fuck. It's hard. I can't find an updated site. Oh, because I googled week 11. NFL 2021 draft order, Tankathon. Here we go. This is what I want. These are the sites. 6th. They have the 6th overall pick.
Eesh.
Wow. And they basically are ahead of Dallas and the Chargers for a top 4 pick. You know, they're not catching up to Cincinnati, Jacksonville, or the Jets, but, you know, Dallas and the Chargers are both teams that can win games. Maybe not Dallas, but the Chargers can win some games. Eagles are pretty much set for a top 5 pick unless Carson Wentz can figure out how to play football again.
But you got to ask yourself, which one, as an Eagles fan, which one would you rather have? You know, because neither of those are appealing.
Ooh, Carson Wentz play football. You have to pick Carson Wentz, right?
For what?
You want him to come back and learn how to play football again and remember, rather than just happen to have a top 5 pick.
Oh, I don't know. You got Carson Wentz for 4 more years, so you might as well be bad this season, come back next year, and be good, right?
Right. Like at the
If
same
you're going to
time,
hope for a very sudden Carson Wentz bounce back, I'd rather have it at the top of next season than right now for no reason.
well, I'm thinking more of like in general. Like I'd rather have Carson Wentz play football at a high level again rather than him suck or be bad for the rest of his career, but have a top 5 pick.
All right, I feel you.
Like that top 5 pick could be anything. It could be Carson Wentz. Like it
Could be someone good.
It wouldn't.
Shots fired.
They'd probably pick a wide receiver.
Would they be wrong?
Yeah, because they'd make it wrong.
Yeah, probably. Ravens produced 2 more positive tests. I just got the notification. Anyway,
The Eagles swept in the first round in 2008.
I would like to take some time to shit on the Jets for a moment before we officially wrap up. Sound good to you?
Sure.
So I was pretty wishy-washy early on in the season about what to do with Sam Darnold, whether we should keep him, and if he got the first overall pick, trade him, trade it to just get more to surrounding talent. I'm now of the opinion he should be gotten gone with and moved on from. I'm not going to say it's all his fault. We have been nothing but bad for him here in New York, but at the same time, it is time. You know when the last time Sam Darnold had a passing touchdown was, Corwin?
No.
Week 3.
Oh.
He has not had a passing touchdown since week 3.
Oh.
In that time, weeks 4 through 12, he has had 2 different multi-interception games. And that is with him missing weeks 9 and 10 because of injury. So in those 4 games since his last passing touchdown, he has had 0 passing touchdowns, but 2 different multi-interception games.
I have nothing constructive to add there. Like that's just.
I'm going to tell you his passer rating by game, and you can see just where I fell off the rails on this. Is week 1, 75.3 passer rate. Week 2, 90.5. Week 3, 47. Week 4, 70.5. Then he missed some games. Week 7, 31.1. Week 8, 70.6. Then he missed some games. Week 12, 51. It's awful. It's awful. His last touchdown of any kind was a rushing touchdown against Denver in week 4. That's it. That's it. His last 3 games have been passing touchdown less. He has not had a passing touchdown in the entire month of November.
Oh, God, that's depressing.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
I want them to can Gase so that we can have them improve and we could see that hope. But I get that they want him to ride them into, the ground and get Trevor Lawrence. I hate that it has to be done, Like it's how sausage is made, except shitty. Or
I know, man. It's literally unfucking believable. I've never seen anyone be this bad before.
did you see the headline I just sent you? I guess
Oh.
it's the full article.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking at
So
it now.
Adam Gase came out and said it is a competitive disadvantage to say who is calling which plays.
Yeah, and by that he means it is a competitive disadvantage for my wallet going forward to admit that I am calling plays.
Oh, it's sad.
So that I can blame some other fucker later on in job interviews.
It's bad. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, but right now the tunnel is still very dark.
I'm not even going to see the light until Trevor Lawrence is drafted by the Jets. Until that point, I don't believe in anything. I mean, I've never felt so numb to a season, and we're beyond the Adam Gase firing stage because it's not going to happen. I still want it to emotionally, but I know it's not, and I don't want it to intellectually. Oh my God, and it sucks. Although I do feel, I feel a mild level of vindication for never having truly had faith in Sam Darnold. As you recall, before the show started, I didn't want him drafted by the Jets. At the time, granted, at the time I wanted Josh Rosen, which we saw
So
how
did I.
that panned out.
Yeah.
Although he was also given a pretty unfair shake in Arizona, but neither here nor there.
Which was worse at the time?
Which was worse?
At the time. At
What do
the
you
time.
mean?
Like, which situation was worse, like their rookie season?
Oh, the Cardinals.
Arizona
Sure.
or the Jets?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, Carolina, the Cardinals for sure. I mean, the Jets were still. I'm not going to say competitive, but we weren't god awful. I mean, that was what was Sam Darnold's first season in Green, 2017 or 2018?
2018.
Yeah, so in 2017, the Jets were 5-11, which is bad. But the year before that was. Oh, was that 2 years before that? Oh, so 2015 was the 10-6 year. Jesus. So 2016 was the follow-up Ryan Fitzpatrick year. We brought him back. That was no good. And then 2017, we ran with Josh McCown.
Yep. QB you guys have had in a while.
Yep. Although that Josh McCown season would be great to have right about now. Not gonna lie. And our defenses were all pretty good at the time. 2018 was his first year. Our defense was still pretty okay. Todd Bowles was still here. We still had fucking some other decent enough pieces. Robbie Anderson was still here. Andre Roberts had a good year. Isaiah Crowell was someone people were kind of excited about. Yeah, whereas I don't think the Cardinals had anything really going for them at the time except for Larry Fitz.
Yeah, even then, it's like 35-year-old Larry Fitz can only go so far. Bad defense, bad offensive line, no real weapons. Definitely was a tough spot for any quarterback going in.
Oh yeah. But I didn't want him because I had no faith in USC quarterbacks. After having survived the Mark Sanchez years, and yeah, I would never want to see a USC quarterback in Jets green ever again.
I am okay with that. Yep.
Yeah, I think Sam Darnold
Granted,
got drafted
it's
based off
going to
that
be a
one
long
game
time
against
before
Penn State.
anyone, well, I guess Slovis is pretty good. Never mind. I don't want to make that take.
Who?
This guy, Ken Slovis, the quarterback for USC, is looking to be really good. I was just about
Did
to
you
say,
Kenneth Slovis?
his last name is Slovis, Slovis. I think his first name is Kendon, Kendon.
Kendon Slovis. That's a made-up name.
Kedon. I'm going to butcher
Kedon
it if I try.
Slovis?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I really want to find someone pronouncing it. I can't say I've watched any USC games live lately.
Has there been any reason to?
No.
Yeah.
No. You want to know the last USC game I watched live?
Penn State?
Yep, when Sam Darnold just fucking had the best game of his goddamn career. And
I just said I think he got drafted based off of that one fucking game.
So did what's his face? Butt fumble guy, Mark Sanchez. He got drafted because of the Rose Bowl against Penn State too.
We need to stop those games from ever happening again.
Preferably just, USC playing against them. I'd still like Penn State to go to the Rose Bowl.
Maybe.
Not this year, though.
Or maybe ever again. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah, so I guess, you and I will find out if this Steelers-Ravens game does truly end up actually happening tomorrow. By the time this episode comes out, you lovely people will all know. Outside of anything developing with that, there has not been much in the way of sports news in the past 48 hours since we last came to you. So sorry, there's not too much going on to really get into. I know the White Sox announced more of Tony La Russa's coaching staff, so I guess they really aren't getting rid of him, which I don't think we have anything left constructive to say on the matter. It's just sad. But
definitely not constructive.
No, it's not. So it's been quiet, which I guess I'll take.
I don't assume
compared to the
I
alternative.
really hope it's more. Last night he had 3 receptions on 3 targets for -6 yards, 1 rush for 1 yard. Can we see more? Can we see?
I was going to say, Chief, I'm going to need you to break this down a little bit further for
I
me.
need more breakdown. David Moore, his touchdown pass was 1 yard. Oh, come on. Do I have to go? I know where I can go to get this information. But I don't know if David Moore would be on there. Shit. He is not. David Moore. Catches? Damn it. All right, hold on. We still
must go
cooking.
deeper.
-6. There's no way. I mean, I can't say for certain.
That's okay. We'll take the fun fact at face value and leave it at that.
I mean, I could dig through literally every play breakdown. But
I don't want to sit here and listen to you do that. So,
yeah,
no.
I don't want that.
All right, well then we'll wrap it up. So that's that. Yeah, I guess there's really nothing. It's quiet, folks. There really ain't nothing here to say. So if you want to follow the show on Twitter, you can do so at JuicingPod. If you want to hit us up via email, you can do so at juicingthenumbers@gmail.com. And until Monday, y'all have a good one.
Bye.
Son of a bitch. Yes, you are. Fuck you, Craig. Yes, you are. Craig, I see you.